Hello, we are SensImperial. Our biosensor is based on a competitive lateral flow assay method, an improvement on the well-known pregnancy test. We make use of nitrocellulose membranes, which we have printed with two lines, a vancomycin antibody and a streptavidin line. Further, we have developed a novel conjugate which we synthesize ourselves from scratch by conjugating both vancomycin and biotin molecules to a central BSA protein. We have further conjugated the BSA molecules to gold nanoparticles, which have a bright red color, which we will further use in detection. You can see here photographs of our conjugate color. Thank you.
So the way the assay works is there is competition between the conjugate and any vancomycin present in the sample. If there is no vancomycin, the conjugate will travel down and bind to the first line, giving it an intense red color. If, however, there is vancomycin, it will displace the conjugate, which will travel down to the second line. This is a huge improvement on actual lateral flow assays such as pregnancy tests because they do not have two lines that give out a measurement. They have a test and a control line. The intensities of the two are inversely proportional, so one will increase and one will decrease as the concentration of vancomycin increases. And this is shown in this model curve, which is a log plot of intensity versus concentration. This is used to calibrate the biosensor and then used to further extrapolate any new unknown concentrations. In the future, improvements will be adding a new strip of membrane which can separate blood plasma from blood, so there will be no need to centrifuge blood beforehand, and we will be able to change the antibody line and the conjugate to test for any number of small molecules.
The smartphone application works by calculating the mean background intensity and subtracting it from every pixel in the image. This just leaves the lines. The value of the lines is calculated and put into the dosage response curves to give two values which are then averaged and anti-logged to give a value of concentration in milligrams per liter. The advantage of using software over hardware is it doesn't require any specialized equipment or special training. This reduces the amount of time needed for the patient to stay in hospital and decreases cost. Throughout the process, we compared the results of our application with those of MATLAB and ImageJ and found that they were consistent. When checking it on various mobile phones, we found that they all worked and the difference between the results was less than 1%. This also worked well in various lighting conditions. In the future, we want to implement our neural network. At the moment, we have built a neural network, but we haven't been able to train it properly. This will hopefully supplement our results. We also want to add cloud access so that patients and doctors can both view their results without having to go to the hospital. And since at the moment it's also modified for other chemicals or medicines that can be used with a lateral flow assay. We also want to put an iOS version out because at the moment we only have Android support. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
So currently we are using 25 microliters of conjugate per conjugate pad. And do we know? The concentration of the conjugate is around 5 mg per mil per each batch that we synthesize. Yes. No, we are aware of that. It's fairly important. It needs to be, I think it can be further optimized, but at the moment it's giving fairly decent results, so we haven't had time to optimize it a lot more. But in the future, we will look into that. At the moment, we're using 5 mg per mil. Yeah. Yeah, it works fine. Any other? Sure.
It should increase compatibility and make sure that even though at the moment we have reasonable results across phones and different cameras, it should improve on that, because when we test it, we'll have known concentrations and we'll be able to train a network using vastly different phones so that the neural network is better optimized for that small, for that thing. Sorry. Well, with the noise, if we train it with just not under perfect conditions, it should be fine. And just